What is good, y'all? It's your boy Jones, and welcome to another episode of Locker Room Sunday, brought to you by Jones for Sports. And as always, joined with my co-host Luke. What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Inching closer to that those playoff weeks, and there's only a few more spots left. So we're
Yep.
getting closer and closer, which is the best time of year for football fans. Like I said last week, is December because it's either you get in or you get out. So these last few weeks are crucial. Some teams have already clinched their spots in the playoffs. Some are still trying to clinch, and some are still just trying to get in the playoffs. This is when you see that part when you watch TV, it says in the hunt. Those guys are the ones that you want to watch throughout these next few weeks because those are the teams that you want to find out what they're about.
Yep.
Because those are the teams that sometimes they get in and they make it all the way. We've seen it before. So this is the importance of December. This is why you hear all the analysts talk about how important December is. So
Yep.
keep that in mind. And as you watch football, it'll make it a lot more interesting to watch those teams that aren't so good but have a chance. It's always the best time of year.
No, it's
But
completely true. It's
right, exactly.
No, it's 100% true. I mean, look at. I mean, we'll dive into Monday night's game because that game was fucking wild. But that's a perfect example of two teams vying for not just their postseason lives, but seeding matters more this year than it has in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, you always hear there's like a cliche football quote like, your season hinges on December. That's not verbatim, but that's basically what it is. And it couldn't be more true. I mean, even in baseball, nothing matters unless you play well in September.
Right.
There's a reason these quotes exist. But before we get into the games, because obviously every time Pittsburgh loses, not only do our Patreons and our Jones and fans in general love to come at me, which is hilarious, but
welcome to my life. I get that all the time from you guys.
Yeah, well, and what's funny is you are a very out there Cowboy fan. Like, you're vocal about your love-hate relationship with the fucking Cowboys. I just lay in the cut and make it known every once in a while that, oh, yeah, by the way, he's a Steeler fan. I'm not coming at people's back, but I will defend my people like a goddamn pit bull if I have to. But speaking of defending people, it's actually a good segue. Did you happen to catch what the fuck Dominique Foxworth said on Bomani Jones's podcast today? Or yesterday?
I did, and wasn't a very good, smart take on his part.
So I'm not going to read the entire article because I'm pretty sure our fan base doesn't give a fuck about anything Ben Shapiro says, but he did directly quote what Foxworth said on the podcast. So long and short of it, Dominique Foxworth said this week that he roots against the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen specifically, not the Bills, just Josh Allen, because the quarterback's fans have, quote, American flags and dogs on their social media. So for anyone who is even remotely good at reading in between the lines, all that means is that basically he will root against Josh Allen because his fans, which are, I would assume, predominantly white people, because Buffalo is mainly white, and the people that support him and wish him, well, because we have American flags and dogs in our in our Instagram and our Facebook. I'm pretty sure if this was the Breakfast Club or any of those morning New York shows, you come on. You'd be Donkey today in 3 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his take on it, and honestly, it's something that if you wanted to make that take, that was something that you could have made a couple months ago during the election, because obviously he's talking not just about white people, he's talking about white Trump supporters, most likely.
Which, by the way, when the fuck did he Josh Allen, to my knowledge, has never said or insinuated any political
Right.
affiliation at any point, even when he was at Wyoming.
Right. Exactly.
Meanwhile, there is a known Trump supporter. There's a couple of them, specifically quarterbacks, but one of them happens to be the greatest of all time. And you never said a word about fucking Brady. Meanwhile, Boston fans have a rap for being some of the most racist sport fans in all of America.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Carson Wentz, who are very Christian, tend to lean toward the right. Can't confirm or deny that they're Trump people, but they tend to lean that way. I know Phillip Rivers is another great example of that. And then guys like Drew Brees, when he made his dumb fucking tone-deaf statement when the riots were going on.
Right.
So, but you come after the guy who's done nothing but be quiet, and the people that fucking support him. I got 2 words for Dominique Foxworth. Fuck you. And that's from here. That's not from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was just a bad take on his part.
Listen,
it had nothing to do with
if you
football.
Say blatantly dumb shit with racial undertones, there's a.
I don't want to say it's racial. I think it's more that he's those people are Trump supporters.
Right.
I think that's more of it. I don't want to say it's just race. I think it's more that they were Trump supporters, which obviously,
regardless of intent, the way it's going to be interpreted is racist, and it's going to be construed as divisive. There's a place for that. It's called Fox Sports 1. Jason Whitlock wrote the handbook on how to say dumb shit and keep your job. So call him. Just that's the way to do it. Other than that, just shut the fuck up. Like, come on.
Exactly. Just keep it to sports.
We're trying to get over this shit. Like, the MLB acknowledged that the Negro Leagues finally were major leagues, which is 100% true. And then you fucking don't undermine something that monumental with this type of dumb shit.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That was just a dumb and ignorant take on his very ignorant. Right, but now getting back to actual football, which is what he should have stuck to. Mm-hmm. Right. Let's start off with, did we speak on, well, we gave our predictions on Thursday night's game, and that came out 24-3 Rams. Patriots after coming off a big win, falling right back into that slump, and it just seems like they haven't really found their identity still. So
yeah,
that's
for what it's
that's
worth.
Something that's.
I mean, I remember when we discussed that game, we brought up balance and being like a complete team. We know that the Patriots are not, but their ceiling is high because of Belichick and who he still has on their roster. The Rams are the worst possible team for a quarterback like Cam Newton because they're 2 very good corners, and they will bring the heat. Now, we know Cam likes to run, but LA always seems to be good, especially mainly because of Donald, but at getting to the quarterback. That's a terrible recipe for Newton.
Yep, absolutely. So, and the Rams, again, we spoke about this last week. They're looking to get into the playoff spot and win that division. So it's not out of the question, especially after that.
Yeah, they're heating up. That's a dangerous
They are heating up.
That's a dangerous team. If you give Sean McVay enough time to put up a good game plan,
exactly,
he doesn't shit the bed like the Super Bowl.
Did you hear what he said recently?
About what his fiance asked him about, what are you going to do with a free Sunday? He's like, I'm watching Red Zone all day. Get the fuck away from me, basically. Basically.
So that's where his head's at. He's trying to get back to a Super Bowl and win it this time. So, and the NFC, I would say, is wide open, especially after that Saints loss, which we'll get into. But, yeah, that was a loss that we did not see coming. But, hey, it is what it is. One interesting game that I want to talk about was the Chiefs and Dolphins games that we said was going to be an interesting game, and it turned out to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes didn't look like the MVP that we all were used to. And not only did he not look like the MVP, he looked like a rookie out there at times. He made a lot of rookie mistakes, getting a safety, running backwards. I felt like he was playing as if he just, with his name and his talent on that team, he thought, look, I can do whatever I want. I can just run out here, close my eyes and throw it up, and one of my guys are going to come down with it. And it just doesn't work like that, especially when you're one of the best teams. You're a target for these teams. And the Dolphins are a team that's, we said in the beginning, they're trying to get in the playoffs. They're trying to win a division and get in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So you can't sleep on teams like that.
No.
And I think that was an example of it. And it didn't look good at all. I think he'll bounce back. But if he continues anything like that going forward, count the Chiefs out. Count the Chiefs out, because he's going to face way better defense in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, not just that. They might see Miami again.
Right, exactly. And now they've seen you once. Yeah. That's a problem.
But no, but to echo what you just said, the AFC is more wide open than we're thinking. The Steelers have lost 2 in a row, but no one took them overly. I mean, people did take them overly seriously, but the Chiefs were always the top dog. If that game validated that if you can confuse Mahomes, run disguised blitzes, and have a good secondary. Miami's secondary is disgusting. No one gives them credit for it. But a team like this current Bills team, the Steelers with Joe Hayden, could easily – their O-line is not that good. And it's on display. Yeah. And I don't give a fuck who you are. If your O-line is not going to give you time to make the throws that you need to make, you're going to throw interceptions. You're going to have passes knocked down. You can't just count on taking a 5-step drop and throwing a 45-yard post route to Tyreek Hill everywhere. It's not real. It's just not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they rely on those throw it up plays, and I've seen them do it a few times where it was just like, all right, I get it. You got what's his name, the tight end.
No,
Kelsey, where he did come down with it, but you don't want to test those corners more than once.
Nope. No shot. And not even just Miami, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. If Baltimore makes it in, fucking Peters and Humphreys are not to be fucked with either. Like we have to acknowledge that they are.
Win it.
Yeah, but dude, Baltimore's corners are fucking disgusting too. Like that defense, when it's clicking, is clicking.
Yep.
And then or now let's say the Super Bowl ends up being Chiefs Rams. I'm terrified of the Rams defense if I'm the fucking Chiefs, because they can actually keep pace with you.
Yep.
Same with New Orleans, and we'll see that, I believe, this week.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't just assume Kansas City's repeating.
Right. Exactly.
Don't ever do that. Football, it's so hard to win 1, let alone 2.
Exactly. It is. It is. It's very hard to repeat. We haven't seen it done in a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of shocking games, Saints-Eagles.
Yeah. Knew that was coming.
No one saw that coming. Not only did that hurt the Saints fans, it hurt me in fantasy, because that definitely hurt my defense a lot, which I was banking on to do some work, put up some points. But man,
well, first off,
his job.
The fantasy game that you're referring to was against me. You are now 0-2 against me this season.
Bullshit.
So for what? Not bullshit, because I had fucking Nick Chubb put up like 18 points on Monday night, which iced it.
Bullshit.
No, listen, you're not stupid for playing the New Orleans defense. But
no, of course not. Nah.
But every once in a while, good teams have a shit day. It happens.
Sure did.
Now again, Philly told you you're getting Jalen Hurts.
Right.
It's not like
And I was a little bit worried about
right. It's
that they
not
wouldn't be ready for him.
right. I mean, but in their division, Tom Brady is a statue. He doesn't move. But you do have like Teddy Bridgewater, who's a mobile quarterback. You know, Matt Ryan's not a runner, but like not you can't just assume that every quarterback is Tom Brady or fucking Rivers. Like they're not just gonna stand there. You got to be able to game
Right.
plan for anything.
Exactly. And I was a little shocked about how able he was to run at any moment he wanted. I mean, how do you not game plan for that? You know what he was able to do in college. It's not going to be that much different. They didn't have that much time to prepare for that.
True.
So, you know what I mean? That's where my confusion was with the defensive coordinator for the Saints, that he wasn't prepared for any kind of run. It seemed like Hurts wanted to run whenever he wanted.
Yeah.
And then when he had the chance to throw, he had it because they were looking in the backfield, looking, is he going to run? Is he going to run? Now we're not so close to our receivers, who aren't that great, by the way.
Yeah. And
You
then
had to pick the Saints defense corners against the Eagles receivers. I would pick the Saints defense.
right. And then for what it's worth, on 14 attempts, Miles Sanders had 115 yards, 2 tutties, along with 4 catches for 21. You got beat at Camaro ball. Really?
Yep.
Come on. You got to be better than that. Miles Sanders, I understand, coming into that game was not playing to Miles Sanders standards, we'll call it. But come the fuck on. Miles, don't ever underestimate a second-year running back who is eerily similar to who you all have with Kamara.
Right.
That's just bad game planning.
Exactly.
And you should have known, the rookie's getting his first start. Maybe we should stack the box.
Right. That would have been smart. That would have probably been the first thing on the board.
Right. So this just seemed like the kind of week where at all levels the Saints just failed. But they're too good to keep this negative momentum going. They just are. The coaching is too good. The defense is too good. Every once in a while, you just shit the fucking bed. What are you
Any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Speaking of any given Sunday, your team happened to deal with it again.
Yeah.
But this time it's to a very more respectful team where we both called it. We saw it coming. Your team has been going through, a few problems in the past few weeks. Oh, yeah. And Buffalo pretty much did what they had to.
Yeah, no, Buffalo did their thing. They deserve credit because they played their asses off. We simply did not. There's no other way to put it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's just sometimes you play a team that's ready to kick your ass and they fucking do it. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way to put it. Like, there's a reason I called us losing that game. Which, again, This is why I love our fucking Patreons and our fucking fans in general, because even when I pick against Pittsburgh, y'all still give me shit.
Hey, I told you, that's what they do for me too.
I don't fucking care. I'm happy.
I know. Like you said, that's why we love it.
Right. But all I'm getting at, so here, let me paint the picture. The Buffalo Bills defense and team in general has been just playing well. They're firing on all cylinders. Good for them. The same problems from the week prior have not left Pittsburgh. They're still dropping passes at an alarming rate. We lead the league in pass drops. Deontay Johnson, if y'all notice, who is a very important piece of our offense, his confidence after he dropped the first 2 was gone. Mike Tomlin saw that, and he didn't come out until about damn near the end of the third quarter.
Exactly.
So, kudos to Tomlin for getting in Deontay Johnson's head and being like, listen, pick yourself up, catch the fucking ball. He didn't drop a single pass after that.
Right.
So that deserves credit. But now and then Hayden being injured, fucking Vince Williams was out with fucking COVID for a bunch of days, so you could tell he wasn't 100%. Avery Williamson had a good game, but he's not, he's still getting used to our system. All in all, the pass rush was dominant for a while. That needs to be said.
Yep.
The momentum shifted when Ben threw the pick six.
Mm-hmm.
It's abundantly obvious that, especially at the end of the half, when they were getting the ball at half, really bad timing. And Ben's usually very good at looking off DBs and finding the open guy. He just stared down Juju on that fucking button hook, and it got jumped, and Williams jumped it. Kudos to him, or Johnson jumped it. Mm-hmm. That's good defense. I can't be mad at that. I can be mad at Ben all the fuck I want, and I was. We still can't run the fucking ball, right?
That's a big problem.
Here's the flow chart of football. How do you win games typically? There's a recipe here. You have to be able to run the ball. Why? Because you chew clock and you give your defense a break. By the midway through the third quarter, our defense, you could tell, was exhausted because we were not sustaining drives.
Mm-hmm.
And the play calling itself is dog shit right now. Randy Finkner needs to realize that his job is probably coming on the line soon.
Yeah.
So here, actually, I called you, I think, Monday. No, I didn't. No, I was talking to my other buddy. But here's what I figured out. Kansas City had a garbage first quarter. Mahomes had, 2 picks, the safety just looked lost, right?
Yeah, he looked horrible.
They still won that game 33 to 26, 27.
27, yep.
Right. Pittsburgh, just to give comparatively,
mm-hmm.
can barely get first downs right now. Ebron, Smith, Juju sure-handed, but he's not the shiftiest guy in the world. And Claypool disappears against a good number 1 or 2. So, all things considered, when you can't run the ball, your 3 main receivers and your tight end can't catch the fucking ball. You can't sustain drives. Your elite defense is getting exhausted because you can't sustain drives. What's the problem? Well, Randy Finkner, our offensive coordinator, who I just mentioned should feel like he's coaching for his job, because he should be, cannot seem to throw any creativity into the play calling. Our weapons are being underutilized. Conversely, Eric Bieniemy for Kansas City, I 100% shuffled the deck during halftime for the Chiefs and was like, okay, let's just get back to doing what the fuck we do, which is using our weapons and calling plays where our weapons can do what our weapons can do.
Right.
You play to your team's strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer that if by, let's say, halftime, if you can't run for at least 55 to 65 yards, abandon the run. We are the last in NFL in play action pass. We never use it because no one takes the run game seriously.
Exactly. You can't use play action.
Right. So then I understand that you can't just abandon the run altogether. There's going to be 2nd and 2s, 3rd and 1 where you just dive right up the gut. Fine.
Right.
But this is a fucking problem. This is a humongous problem, and it's multi-layers. That's all I'm getting at. Now, will we beat, since let's just get the Steeler-Bengal pick out of the way. We're going to kick the shit out of the Bengals because without Burrow, that team's garbage. Let's just be 100% real.
Right.
We'll win that game. But aside from that, I mean, we're in the playoffs. We clinched the playoff spot. We'll see what happens. We have 3 weeks to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to figure it out quick. You're gonna have to figure it out quick because my one of the questions I have for you is how worried are you come playoff time that that first game, whether you're the first seed or you don't get that first round bye and you got to play that first round, are you worried about whoever you have to face?
Well, here's the thing. Let's just assume we win the AFC North by week 16,
Mm-hmm.
right? What that tells me is I think we play Cleveland, bench the starters. Let them heal. We got fucked
Mm-hmm.
out of a bye week. What you're seeing right now is an exhausted team that got fucked out of its
Good
bye
point.
week, play injured. If I am probably not going to get a first round bye, which is fine. It's a self-inflicted wound. So
Right.
if I am dealing with a self-inflicted wound with an exhausted team that got fucked out of its bye week because of COVID, so be it. You got to
Yeah.
figure out a way to rest these fucking starters because we're not putting up enough points where you can pull guys in the fourth quarter.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
And Tomlin is a good enough coach where he knows how to do this. This is not uncharted water for him. I am just a little bit more concerned. Joe Hayden is Joe Hayden's injury prone, but not like concussion prone. Steven Nelson had a good game, but he's not good enough to line up on the island with fucking Diggs.
No.
I understand if we had Devin Bush, fucking Spillane, Dupree, Lord knows what we could have done to Josh Allen. We just didn't have it.
Right.
Buffalo took advantage, and they deserve to
No,
win the
that's
game
true.
regardless of who we put against them.
So who do you guys got the last 3 weeks?
Let me look this up. I just don't want to
Because,
misquote.
like you said, that point about weeks 17, you said you play the Browns. That would be important to get that as a rest game for your starters.
Yeah, especially because not only that, but Cleveland's style of play is so run dominant that's going to be trench
Yep.
warfare. And I
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to deal with fucking. So this week is the Bengals. It's the Monday night game, which is good. That gives us an extra day of rest and short travel.
Monday night, right?
Week 16,
Yep.
we play the Colts in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Tough team.
Yep, tough team. And then we end at Cleveland.
Okay. So if you guys, let's say you win 2 out of those 3,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna need Baltimore and
Honestly,
Cleveland to lose probably 2 out of those 3.
honestly, if I win this week, you definitely don't play your starters against the fucking Browns. I would even
Right.
I
Right.
would
Right.
even I would even seriously consider not even playing them against the Colts.
Mm, the Colts, I don't know. Again, you got this is one of those situations where you got to play it by week. So,
Right.
but absolutely, you're definitely gonna have to weigh your options.
I mean, yeah, you're sure as shit not playing them against Cleveland. That Colt game, realistically, they're probably not going to have a game. They're not going to have their spot clinched until week 17 anyway. So if you take a what's the word, a desperate Colts team, and put them up against a team that is exhausted, physically beat up, but it's not unrealistic to be like, okay, Jonathan Taylor might put up 125 yards because he's facing the second team. That's not an
Right.
unrealistic thought, but what's the greater good? Let's say we end up with Baltimore in round 1. I need my people healthy to beat Baltimore. I can't be dealing with guys who missed the full week of practice because of fucking concussions or stingers or that like lingering bullshit that always seems to pop up this time of year.
Right.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
back to the picks. I'll just take Pittsburgh's not losing to Cincinnati. There's no shot.
Yeah, no shot. The Cowboys just crushed them. You guys should crush them easily. And then the last game of the week,
insanity.
which was a lot of people are saying might be the game of the year. We'll see what your opinion is on that.
I don't disagree.
Ravens Browns 47-42. Not only was it a high scoring game, but it had a little drama to it as well, and it made for an amazing finish for the Ravens at least. But we saw a lot from both teams that were important for both teams going forward. Even though the Browns lost, there was a lot to be proud of in that game.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts? First game of the year or no?
I would say yeah. That game was back and forth. Here's my first thought. Lamar Jackson is not a quarterback. He is a running back. Case in point, he had 163 pass yards. He had 124 on the ground on 9 attempts. He had more rushing TDs than passing TDs. He's a fucking running back.
He is.
And for what it's worth, Cleveland is not that good of a defense outside of Myles Garrett. I'm sorry. Denzel Ward to me is good. I would say
he's not top 10.
He's not Gilmore, Ramsey, Tre'Davious White, or Jair Alexander. He's none of them.
No.
But he's definitely second tier.
He's worthy of a starting spot.
Oh, no. He's their undisputed one.
Right.
But again, this is why Baltimore is such a mindfuck. That stat line from Jackson is terrifying because, listen, as long as he's hitting those passes, he doesn't need to throw that much.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then what the fuck do you do?
Just hit the important ones.
Yeah, I mean, is it game of the year? Yeah, just because of the score and fucking how that game ended. Sure. Mayfield had a good game. I think you basically saw two teams that are familiar with each other expose each other's flaws.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the best way that I could do it, or I could say it.
Right. No, that's a good way of saying it. And the other thing, the one thing why I said the Browns should be proud, even though they lost that game, we saw what a lot of us had questions about Baker. He stepped up in those big moments. He knew he was going to have to throw the ball a lot more in that second half, and he made big throws. He made confident throws.
Yeah.
He looked good. Yeah. I can't hate. Running the ball is still their strength. Don't get it twisted. But he shows that, like you said, with this team with Baltimore, they wish they could have that same, at least somewhat, of Baker Mayfield. Because if Lamar Jackson had that game would have been over in the third quarter.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is not the driver of that offense. What drives that offense is Nick Chubb is clearly the engine. Kareem Hunt is definitely the fucking rest of the motor. Week to week, Mayfield is either the gear shift or the fucking brakes.
Right. Exactly. So that was definitely good for both teams. And to your point earlier, we've seen it last year in the playoffs. 49ers didn't barely use Garoppolo in the playoffs, and let alone one game where he had 8 passes.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if there's a ground game that's better executed than what Cleveland is doing.
Right.
But here's the problem. Once you get to the playoffs, if let's say you end up facing Indy, Pittsburgh, even Kansas City, those defenses can shut you down. Cleveland is not really trying to confuse anybody. We're going to run the fucking ball have fun stopping it. Most teams, especially teams like Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Indy, that love that type, or even Miami, they love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the fucking Jaguars. This isn't the fucking Chargers. Like, these are teams that can absolutely shut you down. You put the game on Baker in the playoffs, I bet he shits the bed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He did make a great stand yesterday by driving down the field, but playoffs is a different animal. And obviously it's going to be a little bit a different atmosphere because there's not going to be that many fans in certain arenas, none at all. So it's going to be a different atmosphere. But now moving on to the segment of the show, which is our picks.
Oh, yeah.
Chargers, Raiders to start up Thursday. Who you got?
Chargers, Raiders. I'm going to take Vegas because I think Vegas is just desperate. I think the Chargers are kind of just trying to play spoiler.
Yeah.
I will say,
agree.
though,
the Chargers, the Raiders are a better team.
Raiders are a better team. Raiders should have beaten Kansas City twice. No one seems to remember that they almost got them the second time and should have.
They did.
It's really just a question of, are you getting the Raiders that can beat the Chiefs, or are you getting the Raiders that 100% deserve to lose to the fucking Jets?
True. Good
Because
point.
let's be real, the fucking Jets exposed every hole in the Raiders' front seven and ran the ball down their throats. You know who's a really good running back? Austin Eckler, who, by the way, for me, I know we don't do like fantasy specific shit, but now that it's the playoffs, if you have Austin Eckler on your roster and you don't play him this week, you're a fucking moron. If Ty Johnson can go ballistic on that front seven, Austin Eckler's going to have a fucking field day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that. I got the Raiders. Yeah. I'm taking Raiders. Better complete team, and they have something to fight for. Now we're in the part of the season where we got Saturday games, so more football for us. Well, not more football, just more. It's spread out.
Yeah, right.
Bills, Broncos. Bills, they're on the hunt. They're trying to win that division. Broncos at times can look pretty decent, but with that quarterback luck, he's going to give up the ball at least once or twice, and that usually is the reason where a team pulls away. So I just don't have any faith in that team only because of that quarterback. But they have definitely made some noise this year. They've had close games. It's just turnovers, especially Locke. He's a turnover machine.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Locke is just still in the learning curve, and without Cortland Sutton, that's been hindering what they can do. Same with Jerry Jeudy, and same with Tim Patrick's probably been their most consistent guy. KJ Hamler's starting to like get rolling a little bit, and the Denver defense is really never that bad. So,
right.
But is any part of that Broncos team better than what Buffalo just beat the shit out of last week? No.
Right. Exactly.
And plus, a hot team that's complete is terrifying against a team that is definitely hurt, absolutely, and has nothing to play for.
Yep. Another Saturday game, Panthers, Packers. Everything tells me Packers, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to be a close one. Yeah. Something tells me that the Panthers are going to hang in this one.
You took the words right out of my fucking mouth.
I'm glad that you're thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
Carolina, and again, maybe this is just the remainders of Ron Rivera and that team. This team seems to always play hard, and a guy like Bridgewater mixed with Robbie Anderson is actually performing well.
Yeah.
McCaffrey is out. That's been confirmed. So for what it's worth, that probably prevents them from winning this game because we all know Green Bay rush defense is dog shit.
Exactly.
Mike Davis is going to have a good game, though.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, Rodgers right now is cocky prick Rodgers when that's the most terrifying version of Aaron Rodgers there is. When he's in the rhythm, slinging it, not turning it over, and Devontae's getting 12 for $125 and 2 tutties a week, they're in that mode right now. Carolina's not built to stop that.
Right, exactly. That's what's giving me that edge. The Packers are on fire right now, and they're in rhythm. And like you said, you give a quarterback like him, it's going to be hard to stop that, especially with a receiver like Adams.
Trail open for the number 1 seed.
Yep, exactly,
so
exactly.
Blood in the water.
Even more.
There's blood in the water, and the shark is where is number 12 in green.
Yep, exactly. Good point. Moving on to Sunday's game, Texans Colts. Colts, their run game is amazing. I know we always talk about Phillip Rivers, but that run game is so dirty right now with Taylor and Hines. I don't think the Texans have what it takes, especially what we've been seeing the past few weeks with them. They had some flashes, but not enough. Not enough to stop that team. And they got 2 quarterbacks who they used at times that played pretty decent. Brissett, when he gets in there, he plays pretty good.
Yeah. Indy really needed Jonathan Taylor to get back and rolling because Hines is a good back, but he's a complementary piece. He can't be a standalone Dalvin Cook workload.
Right.
He needs the other piece. But him and Taylor are a very good complement. Taylor has gotten the trust back of Frank Reich, clearly.
Yep.
And for what it's worth, so did T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah. He's finally back on the scene and getting big numbers.
I can't tell you how many fucking people. Like, I drafted T.Y. Hilton on one of my teams. I cut him like week 5.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on this show where I was asking where has he been. It might have been on this show or a friend or something like that. But I was asking, where is T.Y. Hilton? I see the Colts are doing well, but I don't see it's because of him or he's having anything to do with it. So that was weird.
Well, the Colts also have this like ensemble of like not no-name receivers, but like just underrated, like Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal.
Yeah.
Like they always seem to have these guys that are just like, we have 5 of them, and none of them are bad. One of them is really good if he actually gets thrown the ball. But,
right,
at the end of the day, it's that time in the episode again. The Indianapolis offense succeeds because of what?
Run.
No, not the run.
Yep. Oh, you said the defense?
No, the offense.
What would you say is succeeds?
Are we getting a Pornhub hand job or are we getting an earthy crackhead hand job behind a dumpster?
Yes. I should have known you were going there.
Nope. Come on now. This is the running. This is going to be the merch.
I should have known.
Yeah, this is the only reason I'm scared if I'm an Indy fan is this is the time of year when Charger DNA can fuck you. Phillip Rivers has nothing but Charger DNA in him, and this is the time of year when you cannot afford losses, given your record and where you sit in the standings. And for what it's worth, Houston right now, like we saw Deshaun Watson crying on the sideline like a week or so ago because he's like very frustrated and angry. I would like to think that 52 other players and the personnel and the coaches are feeling the exact same way.
Yeah, that's true.
And J.J. Watt's never going to roll over and just die.
Nah, definitely not. He's got some anger behind him right now with how bad his team is playing in the first place. So he's definitely going to take that out on him.
Yeah, well, old Billy Football really fucked them on that one.
He did. Lions, Titans.
I'm legitimately fascinated for this game.
I that's why I stopped and looked at it like that, because this can, at first you want to say Titans, but they don't have any run game. I mean, run defense, and the Lions have a pretty decent run game. So Stafford's throwing the ball well. Got his receivers that are playing well.
Yeah,
this could be a game that Titans could lose. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans lose. But I'm gonna stick with the Titans.
If Kenny,
okay, go ahead.
If Kenny fucking Golladay could ever stay healthy, the Lions could have. This would have been a year where they could have made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Jones is not good enough to be a 1. He's too old, and he's just not. He's a streaky, 50-50. He's a Robbie Anderson type of receiver.
Right.
If you're going to put the load on Swift and Adrian Peterson, and by the way, just cut Kerryon Johnson. Not in fantasy. I'm talking about like the actual Lions. Just cut fucking – just go ahead. You don't use them.
Right.
Clearly you're done with them, and you hit on Swift.
Yep.
But for what it's worth, man, Swift and again, this is not the Ravens where you're getting Dobbins and fucking Edwards crammed down your throat. But Swift is a far more versatile running back than those two, which is frightening.
Yeah, he is.
He's an Eckler kind of back.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So will Tennessee win this game?
Catching ball.
Yeah. Well, let's be real. What's the over-under on how many yards Derrick Henry has?
Say again?
What's the over-under on the amount of rushing yards Derrick Henry's going to have in this game? I'm putting it at 165. I don't trust the Lions defense to stop Derrick Henry. That's probably what decides this game. That's just kind of, you can't really argue that point. They're so fucking good at it. Oh, look, he's back. You back?
Yep.
Yeah. I see the fucking blizzard we're currently experiencing is probably fucking with your internet.
It sure is.
So when you edit this, cut all the other shit out. But
yeah.
All what I was saying was I don't trust Detroit's defense to stop Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, the over under on Derrick Henry and his rush yard should be about 155, 160.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm starting to trust Tannehill a lot more than I have before. He's been looking a lot better. He's playing like an actual quarterback. When we seen that in Miami, he just didn't have the team for it. Now he has the offense that's built for run. When you have a run game,
it
makes a huge difference for the quarterback.
Yep.
Makes a huge difference. So and
now, just to compliment the Lions real quick, badass of the week from last week goes to Frank Ragnow, who played that game in full last week with a fractured throat.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's fucking wild.
There's no way I would be able to do that.
How the fuck can Frank Ragnow play with a fractured throat? Is Kenny Galladay's hip like legitimately broken? Like, did he dive on a grenade and not tell anybody? Like, there's no reason that he can play with a fractured throat and Galladay is legitimately injured for like 5 straight weeks.
Yeah, I don't get it. All right, moving on to the next one. Division game, Bears Vikings. Now the Vikings just come off a loss. Bears just coming off a win. Division's pretty much closed. I want to say these two teams have a shot at the playoffs, but I don't really think so. So I don't know the importance really for this game for either team.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to make a pick, I'm gonna go. I'll go with the Bears. I like how they've been playing lately. I'm gonna go with the Bears.
I am the exact opposite. I fucking hate the way the Bears play. And Minnesota is too fucking explosive. As good as that Bears defense is, they can control clock because, I mean, I get David Montgomery is playing well. Allen Robinson.
Right.
I mean, Trubisky had one good fucking week.
Right, exactly. But I could see the way the Vikings even did they win the week before? I can't remember.
I think they did.
They did, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not very sold on them.
These are two teams that are horrendously inconsistent at best.
Right. Exactly.
Minnesota is just very
this is a toss
with weapons. No, I'm taking the Vikings.
For me, this is a toss-up game for me.
See, me and Sean agree that a complete team will always beat like an incomplete team. That's basic football 101. When both teams are equally flawed, then it comes down to weapons.
Yeah, good point.
The Bears defense versus the Chicago offense. I'm sorry. The Bears defense versus the Minnesota offense is an intriguing matchup. But if I remember correctly, the last time they played, Thielen went ballistic. Put up like 2 tutties. He had that crazy one-hand catch in the back of the end zone. Like, you know, there's a lot there to be worried about.
Sure is. So, all right. So you got the Vikings. I got the Bears.
Yeah.
All right. Seahawks, Washington. As this storm starts to kill my internets, let's start to
let's go. Let's
pick it up.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Washington.
Give me Washington.
I agree. I thought you were gonna go Seattle with that, but I'm not sold on them. And like I've been saying the past few weeks. So I'm going with Washington. That front seven is real. Chase Young. Woo. Patriots, Dolphins.
Dolphins next.
Dolphins. Ravens, Jaguars, Ravens.
Yep.
Buccaneers, Falcons, Bucks. 49ers, Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys losing this one, shockingly, but I'm going to go with my boys on this one.
No, I'll take San Fran.
My point exactly.
And what's the next one? All right. As Sean's internet continues to take a massive shit, let's see. Where do we
say that again?
I said, as your internet continues to take a shit due to the blizzard, where do we leave off?
Eagles, Cardinals. I went Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals.
Jets, Rams.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Saints. Interesting game.
I'm going to take Kansas City.
I'm going to go with Kansas City. If Drew Brees was in this game and healthy, I might second guess that. Browns, Giants.
Giants.
I could see the Giants. Woo! See? I knew you were going to go there. I knew it. I wish we had more time to talk about this. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers, and that is it.
Real quick. Can I pat myself on the back?
Go ahead.
Last week, I made a pick for the first time in Jones for Sports history that was almost exactly dead on for the exact reasons that I fucking said would happen. The Falcon-Charger game went to fucking overtime, and they won by a field goal.
You did say that. If
there's any game in NFL history that will probably be a tie, this is that game. And I was almost dead on the money.
Yeah, that's the first one on Jones of Sports Locker Room Sunday.
Yeah,
that's how we do it. Hopefully, we get a few more, and we can put some money on this shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, subscribe,
Go to
share,
Patreon, pay
comment.
us.
Exactly. Give a buck, 5, 10, whatever you want, and enjoy your weekend. It's your boy Jones, Luke, Locker Room Sunday. Peace.